Okay, this is my nutritional counseling video, and I'm here with Savannah. She's my patient. So we're first going to start with the form I had her fill out, her nutritional assessment form. We're kind of just going to go through it and talk about like key topics on here, and then I'm going to show you a PowerPoint. So, let's see. You said you follow a specific diet, which is low carb.
Yes.
And then you try to avoid soda, in parentheses, try to.
I try to.
What does that mean?
I love soda. I think about it every day. But I try to drink water instead.
I think that's good. That's very good. Of course, you can occasionally have it with meals, but yeah, I think water as like the number one thing you drink is great.
Okay.
And you also said you avoid sugar, which matches with like the Atkins that I see you put on here.
Yes.
And then you said most of your meals you eat in the living room.
I do.
Is there a reason?
The TV's in there.
Nice. Let's see. You said you're allergic to red 40. Do you feel like that affects what you eat on a daily basis?
Not usually. It's usually red 40 that's found in like cake frosting or something, or if it's like Kool-Aid or just something that there'd be red dye, and that's usually, it makes my stomach upset.
Okay. And then, let's see, you said you get takeout once a week. This is you eat about 2 meals a day. Is that almost every day?
That's almost every day except for the weekends. I usually will skip breakfast before school.
Okay. Let's see. You said your family has a history of diabetes?
They do. Not everybody in my family. It's just my aunt and my great aunt. But it wasn't genetic or anything. It was just type 2. They just developed it later on.
Okay. I think that's my only questions from there. I do have a PowerPoint that we can go over. And it's just general, but we'll apply it to specifics as well. So, a good reason we go over dietary analysis for like a dental hygiene visit is because of its effects it can have on your oral cavity. So yeah, we just like to kind of go over your nutrition to see if it could have any effects on your oral health.
Okay.
In a negative, positive, we kind of just go over that as like a general, hey, this is how you're doing. This is also ways that you could improve. So, let's see. A good thing to know on here is if your diet lacks certain nutrients, it can be more difficult for tissues in your mouth to resist infection, which ultimately, on the dental hygiene side of things, we're trying to prevent gum disease.
Sorry, it was my stomach. I was growling. I was hungry. That cartoon fruit is making me hungry. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Stop it, stomach. Ouch.
So these are the deficiencies I was talking about when you're lacking can affect your ability to fight infection. So these are a few examples. So you may know vitamin C, scurvy. You may know vitamin D, bone fractures, things like that. But every vitamin plays a key role, and that's why we try and balance things well with our diet.
Okay.
Another thing to note is mineral deficiencies. So you've probably heard iron deficiency with anemia, or calcium with your bone health. So those are important things to look at, and we'll go through your dietary analysis here in a minute, and we'll look over what areas you may want to pay more attention to.
Okay.
So, can you consume too many? You can consume too many vitamins and minerals, and it can cause things like high blood pressure if you have too much sodium, or vitamin B can be anemia, again on the other side of the spectrum, and then irregular heartbeat. So another thing that we look at when we go through your dietary analysis is acid in the mouth, and we're going to look at pH and how you can minimize the effects of acid on your teeth. But this is what can happen if we don't find that balance.
Okay.
So you can get dental caries, tooth erosion, and you can also get periodontal disease just because we're not keeping that balance. We're not fighting off infection like we should. So what are acidic fruits? A good example, I know this seems like a general list, but if you can see over here, like lemon, soda, tomato, milk, stuff like that you wouldn't think would be acidic, they are. And so we try and balance them with things that have like neutral pH. So, yeah. And then here is the different type of waters, and the reason this is important is because it's the first thing you should be drinking. It is super key. And I love how you said that that's what you try and do is drink as much water as possible. And it's also helpful to see like this chart right here where you can see the different water brands. I don't know, do you drink, like what type of water would you say you drink?
If I drink water, it's usually just bottles from the store, but it'll usually be either the store brand or I think I saw on there. I don't drink Dasani. I think I drink more like Zephyr Hills.
Yeah.
Zephyr Hills, yeah, that's usually
okay.
what I'll
See,
drink.
that's really close to the 7 pH we're looking for, and so that's ideal. And so I think that's a really good thing that you're doing. So the benefits of fluoride, this helps in keeping that balance in the mouth to prevent all of these problems we went over. And so it can remineralize your tooth enamel. So when the acid gets too low in your mouth and the teeth start to deteriorate, this is able to bring minerals that your teeth need to be functional back into the tissue.
Okay.
And it reverses early tooth decay. So once you get a cavity, you can't reverse that. But if it's like an early enough cavity, you can help it remineralize. So, okay, so we'll take a second and compare your radiographs, so restorations you've had in the past, your food diary, which you gave to me, and your health history and everything. So we'll step onto that really quick. So I wanted to go over your dietary analysis. So when I went through your day-to-day and I plugged in all the different nutrients, either macronutrients, micro, there were a few areas where you may want to start incorporating a few things. So your water intake was a big one, and then vitamin C, vitamin K, kind of like your fruit and vegetable kind of mineral or vitamins. That was something that it looked like we could do a better job of balancing and incorporating into our diet. But then you see for things like sodium and your protein, you're getting more than enough of that.
Okay.
So whenever I was looking at your food diary, I saw that you primarily eat the Atkins.
Yes, I was actually about to cook that in a few minutes
Oh.
and have it for dinner. Is there a problem with my Atkins meal?
No, overall, I think the Atkins, I love that they're lower carb because we'll go over your carb analysis here in a minute. And it's important that we keep a balance between carbs and other nutrients in your food. So, but I will say the one thing I did know about the Atkins and had a lot to do with your sodium intake is there is a lot of sodium in here. Like, here. Look in here and pull out that bag.
Oh my.
That's the salt intake for this one meal.
Wow, I can't believe that.
I know. Yeah, when I was putting it in there, I was surprised.
So I'm putting this much salt into my body when I eat those.
Yes.
I can't believe it. I'm thinking I'm gonna put that back in there now. I don't like to see that.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. I also didn't expect it to have that much sodium in it. But that probably has a lot to do with your sodium intake. I wonder if we were to do another food diary and you were to eat like a different lineup of things, how different it really would be. So, but again, looking at this one more time, there's a lot of things that you were adequate about. There's a lot of nutrients that you were meeting, and that's incredible. I think the protein was a little high, but overall it was really good. Like your omega-3s were really on par with where they needed to be. And then the next thing we did with your dietary analysis was a carbohydrate intake. So I basically wrote down everything that you had throughout the week, and when we're doing this type of analysis, we're trying to neutralize carbs throughout the day. Carbs can have a big effect on the acidity in your mouth and ultimately the demineralization that occurs to your teeth. But if you'll see on here, for your just crack an egg, for example, the amount of carbs you had did not outnumber the amount of protein and fat. So we're trying to neutralize it. We're trying to make it balanced, or if even better, we can have more protein and fat than carbs.
Okay.
So I put in red all the things that were cariogenic, meaning more carbs than protein and fat, and I highlighted it in red. And as you can see, for the 3 days, the only thing you had where the carbs weren't neutralized and you would have like acid exposure were your pizza Pringles on day 2.
That was my cheat day. That was my cheat snack.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's great. If that's like the one thing that you choose to do, that's amazing. But it was only a 20-minute exposure, so that was really great. I noted that down here, that was excellent, especially considering our limit for one day is 2 hours. And so for it to be 3 days under 2 hours is incredible. That's really good.
Thank you.
I will say the only thing that could help that is if you were to have like maybe like a string cheese or something that had higher protein that could neutralize the carbs, and then you wouldn't have any exposure at all. But I do understand if that's a cheat meal like snack that you have every once in a while, you know, it's totally fine to have that, but it is a good practice to balance carbs with a higher protein. And then back on fruit nutrients, the vitamins we were talking about, I have the dietary guidelines for Americans, and as you can see right here, it says the percentage of U.S. Population that are below or at or above their dietary goal. As you can see for fruit, a lot of Americans are below the recommended amount that they're supposed to be. It looks like there's only about 20% of people that are getting their daily intake of fruit and vegetables. So that's a big thing that can be fixed just by incorporating more fruits and vegetables into your diet. So back on here, see. Here's a good resource to look for kind of a good balance of fruits, grains, vegetables, protein, all those different things. It's My Plate, and it kind of breaks down on here all the different sizes you can put on a plate to portion out your meals. And then My Plate has great resources on there where they'll help you map it out. So it's a really good resource for more balanced meals. And then recommendations, even though your limit was really low for acid exposure, these are just a few tips like brushing your teeth twice a day for 2 minutes can remove sugars and food particles from your teeth. That's obviously just a really good practice to minimize how long that acid is on your teeth. And then the limiting between meal snacks. So like with your Pringles, you could have incorporated that with your meal and it would have made it more balanced and could have possibly neutralized those carbs. And then, of course, keep added sugar in your diet to a minimum. You're doing a great job with that. And I know that that's one of your goals, so you're doing a really good job, I think. You should keep it up. And then again, plenty of fruits and vegetables, adding water to your diet. They all play a very important role in your dental health. And then here's some healthy snacks. So canned fruit without added sugar, chopped celery, carrots, and cucumbers, and then protein, which you get enough of. And so this is kind of just a good visual on how to set goals. So we can set goals here today, or you can set goals if you don't have any in mind later, but just for like, let's say, what would be a goal? Can you think of one off of the top of your head that, from what we went through with your dietary analysis, one that you'd like to set?
I think other than drinking some more water, I could probably not eat as much protein because I know I'm getting enough, but I also feel like I'm not maybe portioning it out enough because I know you're supposed to get about 4 ounces or so, and I think I eat about 4 times that, so I think I need to cut back on that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I think I like how you were specific about like amounts, which is really important for this up here. But for measurable, maybe you could just try for like 3 days to try and limit your protein and track it. That could be a good way to be like, okay, after 3 days, I'll reevaluate and see how I did. And then obtainable, I think doing a short period of time like that might be easier to kind of like practice in shorter amounts than just being like, oh, I'm going to do this for the rest of forever.
Okay.
You know? And then I think that's a really realistic goal. And then, again, like, being able to track that is so important because you'll be able to look back on day 1 versus day 3 and see if that balance is getting a little better.
Okay.
But I love that goal. All right, so do you have any questions about anything you saw on your chart or anything that I went over?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in so I could show you this.
Oh, thank you.